Let's see. Awesome, we're live. So, what made you want to write your book? That's one thing I want to know. I
Oh,
writing papers in college and writing papers in school. Writing a book is the last thing I've ever wanted to do.
yeah. Well, writing a book has been something that I wanted to do ever since I was a little girl. And then I think that dream kind of intensified after we had our first daughter. And this idea, it's kind of transformed over and over again. First, it was going to be about like motherhood and really having like a mindful like pregnancy and like, what you eat and taking care of yourself. And then it transformed into something so much bigger than that. So now it's really about, how mindfulness and being present is kind of a lifelong journey, and how it helps you in every aspect of life, in your business, as you're raising kids and making really conscious choices, who you surround yourself with, being mindful of all of that stuff. So mindfulness is something that came into my life when I was when we were still in college, and I was heavily dealing with depression, and I kind of came across this topic and started reading blogs, like blog articles about it, and then books about it. And it just really started to shift my mindset, just like being present to my surroundings and everything around me. It just transformed everything for me. So now we've been on this personal growth, entrepreneurial journey for several years, and that got tied into the book now as well. So the book will be coming out early next year, but I'm really excited because this week I just launched the Mapping Through Life podcast, and I'm sharing excerpts from books and blog posts that have kind of helped me over the last few years transform my mindset. So everything on personal growth, entrepreneurship, intentional living. That's all stuff that I share on the podcast. And with author permission, I, read a little excerpt from either a book or a blog post. And it's just really cool. I love being able to support the authors who have inspired and, helped shift my life in such an impactful way. And I just want to give back to them any way I can by helping get their message out there and helping other people grow as well.
And I think one thing nobody talks about, because my girlfriend just started being an entrepreneur, is the mastery of yourself and how lonely this shit is, and the mental battle and depression, the ups and downs that you have. And if you have kids, you saw these young teenagers or young 20-year-old people saying they're working all the time, to where now if I work all the time, I'm such a shitty father, such a shitty partner, and really balancing that is huge.
For sure.
That's literally a huge
it has been
podcast. It's literally mapping through life, for entrepreneurial parents, because it's such a huge thing. It's so hard to balance launching a business and trying to make it in anything, and still being a parent that's involved and is actually present while you're spending time with your kids. That's something that everybody struggles with. Being present in general is hard, but being present with your kids and not just putting an iPad in their hands and trying to get through your day is huge. So like she said, everything that she talked about, mindfulness, has been huge for that, to be able to balance everything between entrepreneurship, having a social life, and being a good parent on top of all of that.
Yep. So
yeah, not handing my son the iPad is a battle. Because it's so easy sometimes, I get home and then something else pops up, and all you hear is dad, watch this, and you want to be such a good dad and encourage him, but then you have some issue that pops up, and you don't want to just hand him an iPad or put him in front of the TV. And so it gets really, really difficult that way. And to put your phone down, honestly, once you get home, is a hard thing for me.
Yeah, we've
tried, my biggest struggle.
We've tried implementing, kind of that quality time rule in the evenings for us, putting our phones away and really just sitting down and having that floor time with the kids. How old's your son now?
Zeno is 3. He turns 3 in August.
Okay.
And yeah, that's the only one we have.
What day?
For a while now.
August is his birthday.
August 19th.
Okay. Our daughter just turned 4, but she's August 4th.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yep, our daughter's 4 and our son's going to be 2 next month. So,
Geez, in like a couple weeks. Yeah,
yeah,
it's coming up.
it's really, really close.
That is, how you guys handling that? I feel like that's such a handful. I couldn't handle 2 of my son.
Right?
I don't
Definitely.
think we could handle 2 of our son either.
Yeah, yeah, boys are for sure. That was one thing I got asked the other day by a neighbor was, what's the difference between your kids? And I was like, my daughter, like, she was always like, kind of like play and rest and play and rest. And then my son is like, no chill. Like, he's just go, go, go all day long. So that's definitely a big difference with boys.
That is exactly, I'm running into 0 chill with my son.
Yes.
We got into enough Facebook groups. Thank you guys so much for coming on. Before anyone does anything else, please go check out callmagicians.com. If you guys are looking to get cold callers in any type of industry, real estate, insurance, anything, we have the best cold callers in the industry. And then if you guys are looking to skip trace data, go to rocketskiptracing.com. Thank you so much. And this is my friend Alex and his wife.
Yeah, close enough.
Caitlin. Close enough. I'm in the same boat as you guys. Thank you guys so much for coming on. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves? Tell us a little bit about what you do and how you got into real estate.
Yeah.
Oh, real estate and entrepreneurship. And I love the mental health aspect of all this.
Yep.
It's kind of a long story. Honestly, like getting into real estate was her thing at first. We originally saw, I don't know, something on the radio or on TV for like a workshop or a seminar in San Diego, downtown one of the hotels. This was back in like 2016?
2017.
Okay, so.
Yeah, right before we graduated college, we were getting ready to graduate and, we had just had our daughter. We had our daughter when we were actually in our senior year, or getting ready to enter our senior year of college. So we knew corporate life wasn't what we wanted to do. It was what he was going to start with because it was secure.
Yep.
But we really wanted to do other options. So you can go ahead and tell them about what
so yeah, we go to this seminar and it was hosted by like Damon John, or it was like branded by Damon John, the guy from Shark Tank. He was
I know exactly what you're talking about.
So who knew that he was wholesaling, right? So the seminar, it was like for the first night it was free. Yeah. That's what I got excited about. It got us through the door, so props to them. But it was weird. The seminar was about wholesaling, but nothing like wholesaling, like what we're doing today, what we're learning today. Their entire spiel was like getting deals from banks, bank-owned properties, and wholesaling those, which is like impossible now, or at least I don't know anyone's ever done that. But,
as far as I know.
Yeah, so it was all about like literally.
As far as I know, that's really difficult.
Yeah, they're like, go to banks, build relationships with the asset managers and stuff at the banks, find out who their REO agents are, and wholesale those properties. So we went to that. We spent the first night there, and then this was Caitlin's thing. So she actually signed up to do like the full weekend seminar, which was like $2,000. So she did that, like the Friday, Saturday, Sunday thing. I didn't go. I had work, and luckily, like somebody there told her like, don't buy into this, because the next step was like 40, 50K, if you want the exclusive coaching and everything like that. So this was in, you say 2017?
It was 2017. Yeah.
It was before Emma was born, wasn't it?
No. I already had Emma.
All right. So yeah, we're still in college, and she did that and didn't really do anything with it. And we kind of just forgot about it for a little while. Fast forward a year, like we both graduate college. I go into the W-2 job, and she's mostly at home with the kids, like doing her, like she had a blog, she had like books that were in the process and stuff like that. And I was working the W-2 job, and we tried a bunch of different like side hustles over the years between 2017 and the end of 2018. We tried like Amazon FBA. We were doing online arbitrage or retail arbitrage.
Airbnb.
We did everything. Yeah. So we were going to like swap meets, trying to get new product and playing it on Amazon. We tried affiliate marketing. I tried a blog. Like we did all of these other things. And real estate was always kind of in the back of our heads. Actually, in July of 2018, I like found a blog that reintroduced me to wholesaling. And I was like, this was cool. Like I'd already failed at all these other side hustles, and I found this blog, and I was like, man, this is like kind of what we went to the seminar about, but it's a little bit different. It was like today's wholesaling, and I was like, all right, it just clicked. I was like, this is what I'm going to do. And so like the next day I created an LLC, and then at the time I was working 40 hours a week in my W-2 job, like 30 plus hours a week at PF Chang's, and then I had a marketing internship on top of that. So like I'm never time at all. So I created an LLC, and I started like just educating myself, listening to podcasts on the way to work and everything like that, but never really had the time to take action on anything. So this was July 2018. Fast forward a few months, our son was born in December 2018, and I had 3 months of paternity leave. And so I was like, all right, this is my time. This is like make or break. You know, if I'm going to be able to do anything, like this is it. But actually, I was kind of scared of wholesaling still. I thought it was too good to be true. And I was like, I can't do that yet. Like, I'm not good enough to be there. Like mentally, I just didn't believe that it was going to be that easy. So I actually tried doing another sales job. It was like a 1099 sales job. And to me, that was going to be my like key out of the W-2 job. I was like, I'm going to do this 1099 sales job. It's going to open up my time more. And then I'll get some passive income from that. And then I can start wholesaling. Like that was my goal. I went to Denver, did this like weekend training for this sales job and everything like that. Came back and did that for like 2 days. Sat in my truck for like 2 days cold calling for this sales job. And I was like, this is terrible. I hate this. Like literally 2 days sitting there. I quit. I was like, all right, wholesaling can't be that bad. And so I quit that. And 3 weeks later, like once she was recovered a little bit from giving birth and everything like that, we started driving around San Diego. We got a pre-foreclosure list from our title company, and we're just driving around San Diego with our 3-week-old son in the car, door knocking pre-foreclosures. So we're literally going
there you go.
Our 3-week-old son in our arms and door knocking like, hey, you know, we're mindful equity. We help homeowners going through difficult situations, like want to introduce ourselves and see if we can help you out. So that's how we got started. I think on day 3 of that, every time we would leave a house, she would like feed our son, and I would be in the passenger seat, like on truepeoplesearch.com with our pre-foreclosure list, like getting all of the phone numbers and just cold calling people until we went to the next house. And a couple days later, we got our first call back and met with the guy. He ended up we're in San Diego. He ended up having some rental properties in Texas that he wanted to sell. And I was like, had no idea what I was doing, but I was like, okay, let's meet. Let's talk about it. And after meeting with him like 2 or 3 times, we got it under contract, and like that was our first deal. Yeah. So 3 weeks later, we made $7,500, and it was life-changing moment for both of us.
Yeah. After that first
Hell yeah.
Do this.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Can do this.
I never made so much money within a 3-week time period like ever in my life, and it was just like clicked. Like this is possible. So that was the beginning for us.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I got started. Like driving around with my newborn son and knocking on doors. Yeah, like, that's what I did.
That's the way to do it.
We call it baby bait, right? You're like, hey, look at my cute baby. I'm trying to help.
Yeah, no one's gonna slap the door in your face if you've got a 3-week-old baby in your arms at all. So yeah, honestly, like us together has kind of been like a key to a lot of our success. Like people kind of just, no one can get mad at her. And I don't know what it is, but like they meet her and they're just like, wow, she's so nice. And it's helped us a lot when we're going to meet with people to just break the ice, break the barrier. We kind of play like good cop, bad cop when we're meeting with people. Like I'm very like straight to the point, and Caitlin's like, tell me about your life. Like, how can we help you like mentally? You know, a lot of the people that we talk with, like they're mentally stuck somewhere, and she's the one helping them get out of that. And then I'm like, okay, so, you know, she's getting them across mentally, and I'm like, all right, now this is how we actually do it. Like, so it's been great. I'm trying to get her back into helping me more with the real estate stuff. We started out that way. We did our first few deals like together. And then she's been real focused on like launching her podcast, doing her book and her courses and stuff like that. So we're kind of like on 2 separate planes right now. I'm doing the wholesale stuff, going all into that. But eventually we plan on working together a little bit more.
Yep, for sure.
That is so cool. What's going on, Josue? Josue is out of Houston, a friend of mine. What degrees did you guys get?
We both just got like general business from San Diego State. So we're both business majors. We've both been interested in business for a long time. We even started our entrepreneurial journey started before that. When we were still in community college, we started a mattress company, which was like super random too. We've just always like had that spirit though. We were like out at the swap meets, like super early in the morning selling mattresses and anything we could do we wanted to have our own business. And so it's been really, really cool that, literally just like last week, Alex left his W-2 job, like totally. And, we're full on entrepreneur life and we're just really, really excited to go full force with everything coming into this next year. So. Yeah.
How scary was that shit? Leaving your full, like you don't have any more guaranteed income. Like
yeah.
it is I know what I do.
Friday, it's payday, and there's no more money. Like I didn't get a check this morning. I didn't get a little message from ADP. So it's different, but it was a long time coming. We've been working towards this for 3 years, and honestly, like we probably are making the leap a little bit earlier than other people might say is safe to do. But it was just to the point where it's just holding us back so much for me to be somewhere 40 hours a week, not working on the business, only spending like a few hours a week doing this. So it's scary, but like I feel so good. We're so blessed to have a really, really good support system from guys like you and Carlos and Michael and other guys that I meet with like on a weekly basis, talking about how we're going to grow our businesses. And then my family supports me so much in doing this. So it's like, I was actually joking with her last week. I was like, one of the biggest, not the biggest struggle, but it's kind of funny. I feel like a lot of people, they always talk about like their haters motivate them. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I was like,
oh yeah, that's me.
Sometimes I almost feel like I have too much support. I have too many people supporting me. Like I don't have any haters. I don't have anyone motivating that I need to prove wrong. Like everybody's on my side and wants me to win. And I'm like, where are my haters at? Like I need that extra push and motivation sometimes to, get up and just push forward. So, we're blessed in that aspect. We just have so many people that are there for us, so we can talk with and support us in everything that we're doing.
Man, the haters are good for you. They'll come. Don't worry. They'll come. Doubters are always there.
How'd you get the haters? What was it?
How did I get the haters? My Instagram handle is Strat Daddy. That's probably one of them.
Alex Dadley.
Right, Alex Dadley. I don't know. And then you taking the jump, and then people don't like the fact that you faced your fear and just did it. Because not everybody wants to do it. And everybody's going to say, oh, that's not going to work. I remember a ton of people telling me like, oh, you're going to do flipping? Oh, it takes so long. You have to have all this money and blah, blah, blah. And I've had people, oh, you want to buy rental properties? You don't want to have rentals. People calling you all the time, saying they want to change their toilet, same old bullshit they always hear. But they don't do it. Most people who hate on you don't even know where they're hating from, right? Like they've never even been there. And they're just spewing out their own fears on you.
Yeah, it's just doubters. There's that for sure. There's people that just don't get it, man. They're confused by a lot of what we do, and I guess I've had that. So I'll just use that and be like, hey, man, like I'm here to show you, like it's possible. So I'll use that.
Right, and then you just show up with stacks of money and give it to them for Christmas.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
And so, did you guys think about real estate at the beginning or no? Was it just like you always want to run your own business, but it sounds like Alex is like, I guess wholesaling can't be too shitty. I'm gonna do that.
Right. So like my parents, my mom was real estate agent way back in the day. She's still licensed, and she actually is an accountability coach for a really well-off realtor in Northern California. She has a coaching business, teaching people how to do internet marketing and stuff. So my mom's the accountability coach. My dad's been in construction, and they've always wanted to do like flips and things like that. So that was kind of like always something that I grew up around. And his mom and stepdad, they've always been in like the maintenance industry and stuff like that too. So I think it didn't scare us too much. Like we were always kind of familiar with like the concepts. And when it came to like, doing remodels and repairs and all those kinds of things. But I don't know. I think being so young, like, that part of it was like part of the mindset, like no one's going to want to sell to us, or like, we're so young, like
Oh yeah, it's
he's like showing up on your doorstep and they're like, you can help us. And we're like, yeah, we can help you. And they just like, I think it was kind of getting over our own doubts and like having the confidence in ourselves to be able to go for it full, kind of like fully. So that was a big thing.
especially now. Especially now, like if you guys go on in-person appointments, like they double us in age.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's not even a question. I tell them how old I am. It's like, yes, this is what I do for a living.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the confidence that you put out. And there's really never any questions as long as you carry yourself the right way.
Yep.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, I was the same way.
In the beginning, like being worried about that. I think I've always like had an interest in real estate. I wish that I knew I was going to be in real estate when I was in college. I was probably like 3 classes away from being able to minor in real estate.
That was one.
Yeah. So we could have graduated like with a broker's license. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So I wish we would have realized that like while we were in college. I tried to go back. I called San Diego State and I was like, hey, I already got a degree. I'm like 3 classes away. Can I come back and just take those classes?
Yeah.
And they're like, nah. So yeah, I got denied, but I don't know. Maybe we'll figure out another way to get around that. But yeah, it's like I feel like she said, my parents were always in property management, facility maintenance, everything like that. But I never really believed. I never knew about wholesaling until we went to that thing, and that seemed weird. And so I always thought it was some people with money. Like you had to have money, you had to have a lot of experience if you wanted to flip houses. Like. I grew up watching HGTV and Flip or Flop, but I never realized any of that was possible.
Yep.
What's going on, Shane?
Hey, what's going on, Shane? We did our 2nd or 3rd deal with Shane, actually. He got me into doing Facebook ads, and he's a big part of our success for sure early on. So what's up, Shane, man? Good to see you.
And so why real estate? What were your biggest fears when you were about to quit your W-2 job, and how did you face them? What did you tell yourself to overcome that? Because just the fact of no one's here to save you, even though it's so cliche, like nobody cares. No one's here to save you. Your bills aren't paid, and then people are going to be knocking on your door to buy your house, pretty much. Yeah,
the biggest fear is consistency of income and just like having a safety net for sure. And honestly, it was like my friends and my circle that really pushed me to do it. This entire year, I've been telling myself, like since last year, we had a really good Q4 last year. And I was like, all right, January, February 2020, like that's it. I'm quitting. I did the Steve Trang, like real estate disruptors where we met. I went to that workshop. I was like, this is all I need. And as soon as I get to a certain level, I want to have like 100K in the bank. I was like, as soon as I get there, I was giving myself a couple of months, like first quarter 2020, I was like, that's it. I'm going to quit. And obviously that didn't happen. Like there were setbacks. There were a lot of ups and downs in the business for us, partly because I was working so much and it was just hard to do everything that I needed to do. Like we struggle with that between working a full-time job and like having 2 kids at home. Like it's just a struggle, man. So really I like mentally was not ready for it. And then I think end of August and early September, I was talking with like every Monday morning, I'm part of like a Monday morning mastermind call with like myself and 4 or 5 other guys. And I was telling them like, hey, my goal is to quit by my birthday, which was October 20th. And I was like, but in order to quit, I want to have, I think I said like $40,000 or $50,000 in the bank. And then one of my buddies, Carlos, he was like, all right, so what happens if you don't get to that goal, that $40,000 or $50,000? I was like, well, I mean, I guess I can't quit then. Like, I need to have this safety net. That's just where I was mentally. I need to have that safety net to go ahead and quit. And him and all the other guys, like, kind of like just were super real with me. And we're like, look, man, like, you can keep saying, like, setting a specific goal for yourself. But if you don't hit that, it's just going to keep getting pushed back and back and back further and further. So they're like, dude, like, you need to change your mindset. You need to stop like thinking of like, when I have this money, I'm going to quit, and switch that to, when this date comes around, no matter what, I'm going to quit. And so from now until that date, that's it. That's all the time I get. So I'm just going to bust my ass and work as hard as I can to save up as much as I can. And then on that day, like, it's go time. And that really just like finally resonated with me. I was like, you guys, you're right. Like, I have to do it. So I set the date, and I quit like right around my birthday, a week after. And that was it. It was just a mental mindset shift, really. So, we were able to do like 2 deals in the meantime. I didn't hit that exact goal that I was on, that I wanted to hit, but like mentally I'm ready. Like, I have a decent amount of savings, and I know that like if I'm able to put full-time effort into this business, like there's nothing that can stop us from taking off.
And you have to get past the fact that like you're doubting yourself, that you do need that safety net. You've spent 3 years developing the skills to make, what are your bills a month? Like $3,000, $4,000 a month. You have the skills to produce that money out of thin air every month if you absolutely have to. Like if your back's up against the wall. You guys know it. Like we know what to do now because we've been doing it for so long. Is the way I see it and the way I kind of did it. I just started and hoped I didn't go broke and die.
Exactly.
And so we got that. How did you feel about it, Caitlin? Like, what was your mindset with that when you're encouraging him?
Totally. I was totally encouraging him because, we were getting frustrated, I think, with like our time, like with him working full time. And then like I was trying to get my podcast launched. So when he would come home from work, he would try to give me a couple hours, of like time to work on my stuff. And I think we were just getting frustrated with like this constriction. Like he didn't feel like he had enough time to work on his stuff. I didn't feel like I had enough time to work on my stuff. And I was like, then let's just do it then, like I was totally like on board with it. And I was like, we'll figure it out. Worst comes to worst, like, I don't know, like we'll figure it out. So I think we were pretty confident in our ability to be resourceful, need be, and, just go with it. And, we have such an amazing support system with our family and everything too, that, I mean, there was really nothing, wasn't not enough excuses to be like, to weigh it out and be like, no, you have to stay. Like, so.
She's definitely the more optimistic one than I am. Like I'm the one that is like very just logical about everything, and I wanted to have a larger safety net, and she's like, nah, let's just go. Let's like full send. Let's just get to it. And she pushed me for sure to just quit my job. She wanted me to quit months ago. Yeah. And when I told her that I was finally like planning on doing it, she was like, finally. So, and I feel like that's the opposite. Like a lot of people don't have that. Again, that's why I keep saying like, I'm so lucky to have this support system and like a significant other that 100% supports what I'm doing. But at the same time, I'm like, man, maybe if you would have doubted me, I would have worked harder to prove you wrong like months ago.
Oh boy.
I don't know. It gets tough if your significant other isn't like about it.
Yeah.
Like that could be real. I could see it being miserable. Luckily, I'm in the same boat as you, where she's pursuing entrepreneurship journey, and at least she supported me through the whole time. Now I can help support her. But if you don't have someone who's backing you and is feeding you doubt, it's really easy to quit because you're with that person 80% of your day anyways.
Yeah, for sure.
And so you are truly blessed. How big was Steve's mentorship? Shout out Steve. And teaching you what to do, building the network of all those things is what I think is the biggest that you get out of any event, on top of all the education you get from Steve and the other people. But the network you pull out of it is amazing, and the mastermind you created out of it, and then learning what you need to do on a daily basis instead of just kind of being out there wandering around.
Yeah, shout out Steve and Max and Real Estate Instructors for sure. That's our daughter back there. You made a good point. Like what I learned from the mastermind, like the sales skills and everything, were absolutely game changer, like for the business. But the networking part of it was more valuable than anything. Like last year, it was me, Caitlin, and then Shane who popped on here. Like that, they were the only people that I knew in the business, doing anything. And so we just felt alone in everything that we were doing, and that makes everything so much harder. And I went from literally nobody, having no friends in the business, no one to call to when I'm having a rough day that can understand what we're going through and that we can relate to. Honestly, like ever since college, we've been in this weird boat where like we don't really relate to anybody. When we were in college, we were the kids with the kid. And so all of our other friends are out like living their best life, you know what I mean? Like going out on the weekends, like having the college experience. And then anybody else with a kid is like 35 years old, like 10 steps up the corporate ladder. And like we just can't relate to any of those people. So that was like our biggest struggle mentally. And then being in real estate, being in wholesaling, we had nobody else that knew what we were doing. Nobody understood what we were doing. And then going to Steve's mastermind, I mean, like my closest friends now are people that I met from that group for sure. Everybody that I talk with, my Monday morning mastermind that I have like every week religiously, like all of those guys basically came from Steve's workshop. And now those are like my best friends. Like me and Carlos talk on the phone every single day, 2-3 times a day sometimes. So, and having that relationship absolutely was a game changer. My network now is like way bigger than it ever was in college. And it's all because like I got into that group and started meeting other people that are doing what we're doing.
Oh yeah. The networking aspect of it, and I'm in the same way. I think Michael, Ray, Charles, and then some people out here, but two of my best friends are people I met at Steve's first event. And then JR, I have a handful of people. My entire network is built off of going to that event and then going to some other ones, but it has been absolutely massive. How do you guys structure your day now? Because I think one thing you're used to when you're at a 9 to 5 is it's built for you. Now you have to hold yourself accountable, really set a schedule for yourself. Did you like learn how to do that? Did you just come up with it yourself? For me, like I ask people, what is your daily routine? So I feel like I'm actually doing something and I have something to track it with. I think is a big problem a lot of people have.
Yeah. So literally we're kind of like getting ready to start our new routine. Before it was, we would still get up early before the kids and practice like the miracle morning and have morning time to ourselves to start our day. And then he'd go to work. I do homeschool with the kids. And so we're going to kind of follow suit with that still, where once we're actually visiting my family right now in Northern California. So once we get back to San Diego next week, we're going to get into our new routine. We rented an office space because Alex needs somewhere to go, out of the house, away from the noise of the kids and everything. So we'll still follow that, getting up early, doing our morning routine. We'll maybe do like breakfast together, and then he'll head out to do his calls and stuff while I do homeschool. And then hopefully he'll be home like early afternoon, and then I might head to the office to, do some of my computer work and stuff. So we're going to kind of like trade off. And then evening time is family time. So as soon as we're all home in the evenings, it's, dinner together, playtime, and that's pretty much it. Like that's it. So
yeah, we're kind of still figuring.
Do you guys have a? Oh, I feel that. Do you guys have a set time for the phone thing? Like, okay, no more phones. Focus on the family. After 6:15, if you touch your phone, there's going to be trouble.
I
tried to implement that hard.
I'm kind of been bad at following it, and it's definitely a constant struggle with me. But when I was like having the W-2 job, I get off at 2:30 and I get home at 3 o'clock, and like the rule of thumb, like what I was supposed to be following, and it was like kind of up and down, was when I get home at 3 o'clock, like no phone, and then literally until the kids go to bed at 8 o'clock. So
wow.
You try to be like, when I'm there with the kids, like that's my time with the kids. So a lot of times actually, I'll take that back. I'd get home at 3 o'clock and I would spend the first hour at home, usually from 3 to 4 or 4:30, doing all of my follow-up calls. So I'd be in my truck on Podio, like calling from my computer. So I'd spend an hour working. And then if I had something that I like needed to respond to, or I was waiting for a call back either from a seller or a buyer, I'd have my phone around. But other than that, like, as soon as I get inside and I'm like with the kids, it's no more phone time until they go to bed. So, and that's really hard to stick to, but that was always our goal. Sure. Yeah. And now I think we're going to still try to do something similar. Like, when we're at the office, when we're working, we can have our phones.
It's work time.
It's work time, post on social media, do whatever you got to do. But as soon as we're with the kid, like mindfulness, like Caitlin said, is super, super important to us. Being present in the moment is super, super important to us and like how we spend time with our kids. So anytime we're together as a family, like we really try to just get rid of the phones.
Yep.
It is the hardest thing ever for me, especially when if eventually you're going to get to the point where you're going to do a lot more on social and it makes you money, and then you have to just set it down and record everything. I've thought about just getting a phone to record everything, and all I can do on it is record. And then I'll send all that to my other phone. And at least that way, all I can do is record and then put it down and keep on going.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea.
It gets very, very troublesome. Guidebook, safety net. Man, and so let's talk about your podcast that you have coming out. I'm really interested with that. I think no one talks about how hard of a mental struggle entrepreneurship is. All you see is a bunch of dudes flashing cash saying I do deals, to where like they don't talk about like the 6 other times they've been broke this year because they emptied out their bank account trying to do something else. Or the fact that you wake up and you just doubt yourself, or like all these other sporadic things that go on constantly in that mental battle.
Definitely. So, I mean, a big part of the, the entrepreneurial journey, right, is that like personal development piece. And so I have been a constant like reader. I feel like I've read more books outside of college than I did while I was still in school. And so I'm constantly reading, and I was like, feel like I was gaining all of this amazing, knowledge and having these great mindset shifts. And I wanted a way to share that with everyone, and also to give back and to help promote the people who were helping me make these changes in my life. So, I really wanted to start the Mapping Through Life podcast, where I reach out to these authors in personal growth, intentional living, mindfulness, some parenting, like conscious parenting, bloggers, and ask their permission to feature a piece of their work. So I just, the podcast I just released on Wednesday, the first 4 episodes are up. And I have a couple of authors. I have Hal Elrod. He is the author of The Miracle.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was I was so excited to get his permission. So one of his newest books, The Miracle Equation, that came out May of last year, I featured a little excerpt called Becoming Emotionally Invincible. And it's like this powerful little tool that helps you release all of your negative emotions in the span of 5 minutes. And so also too, we both invested in coaching this year. So I invested in a business coach. She is ranked #1 for entrepreneur coach. Her name is Bree Seeley, and she has been amazing this year. I featured her book on episode 2. It's called Permission to Leap, and it's all about taking leaps in life, whether that's leaping into entrepreneurship, leaping into, a new relationship, or whatever it is, like just having the courage to leap and continue to show up every day, and how things don't just happen. Like your results are not immediate, and you have to keep showing up every single day. So the podcast was all about giving back to those authors. And I'm just excited to kind of give back to them and help other people grow. Cause I know, for entrepreneur parents, it's hard sometimes to have that time to read. I know I'm really intentional about my time to read, and I make sure I'm up early so I can have some time. But for other people, I wanted to give them a way to listen to it, whether you're at home making dinner or, like washing dishes or whatever. You can throw on a podcast and be introduced to like new authors, new bloggers that you may want to connect with. So I link to them all in my show notes. It's all about promoting them. And for right now, it's going to be 1 episode a week, a new featured author every week. And then slowly I want to work up to doing either every other week or 2 episodes a week, where I maybe do like 1 solo episode, kind of like featuring what we're up to, because, I want to share that too, because I know there's some big stuff coming up for us as well.
Oh, I love that. Bree Seeley. What are your top 3 self-development books that you would recommend?
Oh, probably The Miracle Morning is probably one of the first ones. Also The One Thing. That is an amazing book. That really, I ask myself, that question every morning because my time is so limited to work. My focus is mainly the kids that I'm like, I need one
Mhm.
thing, like what's going to be my biggest needle mover today to get done. So probably The One Thing is another one. And third one, it's so hard. I love so many books. Permission to Leap is an amazing book. Honestly, I picked some of my favorite books to be the first features on the Mapping Through Life podcast. So those are
And
my.
how did you find Bree? Like, how did you find her as a coach?
Yeah. I actually met Bree a couple years ago at a random networking event in LA. Like right as I was just kind of getting into, I knew I wanted to do some sort of course creation or write a book. I really was just like all over the place and didn't know what I wanted to do. So I was just going to networking events and I got invited to go to one in LA. It was put on by ConvertKit, like an email marketing software.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I just went to LA one random Tuesday night and I ended up meeting Bree and she gave me a copy of her book. So I read her book and I loved it and I wanted to hire her then as my coach. And financially, it just like was not possible for us. Like just wasn't going to happen. And so finally, after doing a couple of our deals, at the end of last year, we had a really good, Q4. And that's when we both were like, all right, we're gonna invest in ourselves again. We basically just like reinvested a lot into coaching for this year. We're like, we need that group, we need that community around us going into 2020. Like Alex said, we're feeling lonely and we needed to be connected to more people. So yeah, it's been amazing to be a part of her group and the women I was able to connect with this year.
And do you want to talk about your book yet?
Like I said, the book is it's still like in the editing stages. The first part it's broken into 3 parts. The first part is about like your inner state, your kind of like being mindful. It's about like my journey kind of overcoming depression in the first stages. The second stage was all about creating your environment around you and like your home environment. I've spent a lot of time getting our house correct. So when it comes to like minimalism, sustainable living, that's kind of like part 2. And part 3 is about kind of leaving your legacy. So like how you pass on the traditions and the way that you, live in the moment every day and how that becomes your legacy that you're passing on to your kids. And so it kind of comes full circle. It's from you to you guys in the middle, your life together, and what you're leaving at the end for them. So, yep.
I like that a lot.
So,
awesome. I don't have any other questions. Thank you guys for so much coming on. Our last one. What are your guys' goals next year?
Dude, definitely trying to step it up in real estate. Hopefully she'll get her book launched beginning of next year and then start doing some more real estate stuff with me again. We kind of want to bring that back together because we just like when we do appointments together, we just kill it. So really just trying to grow that. Obviously like trying to get the wholesale up in to the level where we want it to be at so we can start buying run properties. That's kind of our biggest thing. Getting cash flow, maybe take a flip down if it's a home run deal. Like we're always looking at doing a flip if it makes sense, but really like our goal this year was to take down like 10 rental properties, and it was kind of a crazy year. I was supposed to quit and go full-time real estate beginning of the year. We're just now getting to that, but we feel good about where we're at right now, and we really like are pretty confident within this next year we're going to be taking down a lot more rentals, killing it in the wholesale game, and then her launching her book, growing the podcast. She's got a course that she's going to be launching along with that for entrepreneurial parents and stuff like that. So really just like making the most out of being self-employed. Obviously like it's all about, I hate the word balance, but like we want to do things for ourselves as well, spend more time with the kids, travel if 2021 allows it. And there's a lot that we got, planned. Big vision for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I have another question.
Sure.
It's my biggest fear of working with my significant other is setting boundaries of when you talk about work.
Yes.
I don't want to work with her because I work so much. I don't need my relationship with my significant other to stay work. And then it's like never an escape. And then where did your love life go? Because you guys are always talking about work. How do you guys balance that?
Oh, I think we've gotten better about it. I think, especially because right now we're kind of doing a little bit different stuff at the moment.
We talk about each other's work
and
stuff like that.
And also too,
Yeah.
we have to know when. One of the questions we like to ask each other is like, okay, I'm just sharing this with you right now, right? Because we love to like give each other feedback.
Yeah.
There have to be moments where I'm like, hey, I'm just sharing this with you right now, right? Like I don't want any
Tell me to shut up,
I don't want any
basically.
critique or anything. Like this is just the idea. So I think it really just comes down to like the communicating whatever it is you're trying to say, like at that moment, or then when I'm open to feedback or advice.
To answer your question though, like how do you find other things to talk about? You just got to do more fun things together. So you have other things to talk about besides work. If all you do is work,
True.
Whether you're working together or like doing your own thing, if that's all that you do, that's all that you have to talk about. So if you want more things to talk about, so you're not just focused on that conversation being work, you just got to like do more fun things together, whether it's like having a date night or like doing things with the kids or just like, really like not just being an entrepreneur. Like we got into this for a reason. So we aren't just slaves to what we do to make money. Obviously we enjoy what we do to make money, but that's not all that we want to do. So I think you just got to get out there and find more things to do and like really realize like you have another life to live as well. And that'll give you plenty more things to talk about.
Yeah, that's one thing we've been intentional about this year too, is for the most part, we made it a goal to have like bi-weekly date nights. We wanted to have that be something. So we'll send the kids to his mom's house and, we'll get that time and try to go do something fun. We've taken a couple solo trips with just us this year too. We did some hiking and stuff in Utah. So we try to have fun as much as possible together too, because you got to have fun outside of just the work stuff together.
I love it. And what was that phrase again? Because my girlfriend and I had to set up the same exact boundary of I'm just sharing this with you.
Yeah.
So you don't act like an asshole and just try and barge in and say a bunch of shit.
Yeah, I mean, you can make the phrase whatever you want it to be, but I'll come to him sometimes and be like, hey, like, this is what I'm up to right now, but like, just listen to me. Like, just listen to me. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming on. Again, if you guys are looking for cold callers, go to callmagicians.com. And if you guys need skip tracing, go to rocketskiptracing.com. Where can everyone find you guys? And what's the best way to reach out to you?
I can probably I'm on Facebook and Instagram the most. Instagram the most for sure at Mapping Through Life. My website's mappingthroughlife.com. I'm also until Sunday, I'm doing a book giveaway right now. So I'm giving away copies of The Miracle Morning and Permission to Leap. Because those are the two featured authors on the first couple episodes. So there's a link in my Instagram bio right now if anyone wants to be entered into the book giveaway. So that's there for you. And you?
Yeah, same thing. I'm pretty
What
much
about you, Mr. Dadley?
just on Facebook and Instagram. Alex_Dadley on Instagram. Alex Bradley on Facebook. I'm sure there's a million Alex Bradleys on Facebook, so just go to Strats friend list, find me on there. But yeah, you can DM me. That's the best way to contact me. I'll respond for sure.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming on.
Awesome.
And Veronica is friends with another person, Michael Ray. That's his wife. And they are in business together. And I met them at Steve's event.
Love it. Awesome.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, good talking to you, Strat. Thanks for having us on, man.